Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist-humanist philosopher and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, agnosticism, atheism, antitheism, antireligionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudo-history, pseudo-morality, things that are found in religion. I support realism, axiology, of course, liberty, justice, ethics. I am also an anarchist socialist. I support anarchism and socialism, progressivism, liberalism, philosophy, psychology, archaeology, and anthropology, advocating for sexual, gender, child, secular, LGBTQIA+, race, class rights, and equality. So if you can guess from all that, I support or challenge that I have an eclectic variety of videos on a variety of topics. Please take time to check them out, as well as if you enjoy them, please give them a like. And don't forget to subscribe, as new things are on their way all the time for my channel.
Hello.
Hey,
How's it going?
tired today.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for accommodating my weird situation.
Well, I appreciate you, man. It's not that I have don't have something good to say. It's just it needs to be done in a way that's more approachable for people.
Fair.
So I'm just saying, which is why I appreciate you, because us together, helps. I think make it not feel like just beyond what they know.
Right. Well, yeah, I guess because I'm coming in kind of raw. I don't really have a ton of knowledge on this. So
See?
yeah.
Right. Well, I was just saying, well, my point would be if we both were at my level, most people would be so lost they wouldn't even know that we're saying good stuff because it's so past.
Right.
It's
seems like a lecture, not a conversation that they can understand.
Exactly. And I'm like I said before, though, I don't want that because I know that was already lectures. If they want to learn what I learned, they can just go watch 50,000, archaeology, well, there's still much more you have to learn than that. You have to learn a bunch of stuff. But my point would be the reason why I think it's better what we're doing also is because I think that our community is like think of this, like if people just imagine if history only talked about men.
Right.
Right? Oh, yeah, you mean like history?
Yeah, that's right.
But my point is about that is even if an archaeologist addresses history, he's not going to go, yeah, there was socialism and here's anarchism and how by the way, I think capitalism might have started right here. You know, they don't say shit like that.
No.
So they need me and you to bring it back to, yeah, let's not act like we don't fucking exist.
Yeah, that's right.
But you know,
for sure.
capitalists need us to not exist, right? Because they go, oh, it's never been in the history of the world. I'm like, that's a lie.
Yeah. The no common refrain, yeah.
I'm like, there's been one that's existing now that they say it has are probably 15,000 years old. So it's anarchism for at least 15,000 years. So I don't know. If you think that's a fail, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's right. That sounds pretty good to me, but
well, because you know why? Why would you change it? Everybody feels great. Everyone's supported. Yeah. Everyone has rights in a sense. Everybody's related. There's no other. You could see where that would be like really hard to go. Yeah, I want it. You see other people fighting, and you're like, seriously? And they go, they're like, oh, we don't let our women divorce, and they're like, of course our women could divorce. What are you talking about?
Why wouldn't you let them do that? Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I think but I think that the two things. In general, as you think that you're getting the impression that we should not ever do is minimize indigenous people.
Right.
As somehow that they're less than, that they're ignorant, stupid, whatever, or that somehow our Western religions are so much better than theirs. And I'm like, you do realize 7,000 years ago, they were all the same religion. Basically. I mean, okay. Related. I'd rather say the same.
Related, yeah.
Yeah, same is not correct. I actually take it back. I said I'm going to correct myself, Damien. They weren't the same, but they were shared source. How's that?
There you go.
There. So they were related. Absolutely. I mean, like almost like genetically related, but culture, not genetics. I mean, there was genetics involved too, but it would sometimes the genetics would stop, but the culture kept going.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So it's not like so it's because some people think that if you follow genetics that exactly tells you culture. No, that doesn't really do that because sometimes it'll flip flop and yet the genetics just kept going. They didn't even stop, but yet now it just changed because it hit something else. It blends and then from then on. Like a lot of people don't understand, which I put in the blog that's going to be in this video, is that. So I use words like animism, totemism, shamanism, and I know most people don't understand these. You really need to read all my stuff to grasp what I'm saying. So, because even reading Wikipedia is not truly good. You're going to be still not understanding they're like ways of behavior. Really, even for the beginning of like what we're talking about, early paganism, because right now we're going to address basically, I said 12,000 on the title, but it's probably like 13,000 actually somewhere around. Well, some are after 13,000. I don't know exactly 12.5, 12.3, 12.1. I don't know. 12.4. Anyways, I say 12 because, it's easier. but I mean, it's just, it's because I've heard someone go, well, Damien, man, I hear you like change sometimes, just like a thing, it's like you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, that's not really what's happening. It's happening. I know what I'm talking about, but it's too complicated. So I think, how can I simplify it for people?
Right.
So don't think that because you see, like sometimes there's another issue. It depends on how I'm breaking religion down when I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes I could almost talk in the actual when the new religion started, or I could talk about group behaviors, which could be bigger than that. You see what I'm saying?
Right, for sure. Yeah.
So that's what just like it was. This goes to the point I'm trying to make. So there is in North Japan. Okay, I'm probably gonna say this wrong, but it's off the top of my head too. I think it's the Anu people. They're related to the Americas. They're also related to people in Sweden.
Okay.
And in Finland and the Baltic, whatever. But my point is, they actually have the same almost religion as well.
Oh, okay.
It is a shamanistic pagan. Oh, sorry, I said it wrong. My wife argued about this just last night, or not argued, but we discussed it. Because how I used it, I said there's a reason why I say it in an order. It has to be said in order because I'm trying to explain to you what their religion was. Because they're not. Because I want you to get that you can have shamanism not be the same as other shamanism. You can have paganism not be the same as other paganism. This is very important because everything from 13 to 7,000 that we're talking about in this video is one kind of paganism. It is capitalistic paganism. So what you need to understand is if you don't have money involved and everybody shares equally, you don't get the same sort of like leader bullshit that you get with capitalism. You're not hoarding wealth. Okay. You're not the big man with the wealth and the stuff and everyone's got to beg and then you can give it away like a fucking royal or, a superior god or whatever.
Right.
Right. Because you stole it to begin with, but fucking who cares, right? It's yours, you have it. Ask Britain. They got all kinds of shit in their museum, stole as a motherfucker, and yet it's theirs now.
Yeah, that's right.
Or Germany. Hitler did all kinds of that shit. But of course, that's not like some new thing. That's a 7,000 years and down new fad of fascism. Because I would put fascism and shit then. That kings, monarchs, rulers, shit, 7,000, the world got fucked. Everything before that wasn't too bad. I mean, religion still sucked balls. But it wasn't like this oppressive thing in your life to where you were getting killed because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly, like I said, capitalism starts at 7,000 with the accumulation of wealth. And then the right of land and the passing and succession of male heirs.
Okay.
All the fucked up shit we have today.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like I said, let's go back to I just wanted to real quick tell people, right, so you got that much. Now let's go back to, again, what I was saying about shamanism. So the shamanism in North Japan, the same, like I said, in Sweden is the same, or I say similar. Sorry, I'm not saying similar. Like, well, I was going to say same source, but maybe that's not even correct because it could have been actually different sides of the mountain of the Golden Mountains on the steppe lands.
Okay.
Lake Baikal. I have art on in this video.
Yeah.
Lake. Anyways, that explains this. So, but I would say that's why maybe it's not even the same source. Maybe it's just same general area that had the same beliefs or similar beliefs, and then because actually one went this way. So it's not like Japan went all the way. Just so you know. Okay. Just so you know, it's actually people from Siberia went down into Japan and they went over into Sweden. So that's more accurate to understand. Now, so the reason I want to say this is because they have paganistic shamanism that's heavily totemistic as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, I guess in a sense, we've talked about totemism and we've talked about shamanism. So we kind of know what those terms mean now.
Right.
And so then what is this? What is paganism?
So paganism is new, right? So after 7,000, a lot of not all, but a lot of shamanism got gods. They didn't have this before, in a sense. They didn't have God. Well, because in a sense, a shaman talks to the spirit world. They don't need to talk to a god in a sense because they're already intercessing themselves.
Right.
They are, in a sense, the god. And in fact, just so you know, Odin, was it Odin? Oh, Woden. I was trying to think now. Because I'm not, when it gets to the younger stuff, but I believe, if I remember right, that Odin, because there's different god names, I forget sometimes or get confused the different, but I think it's Odin or Woden that was originally a shaman himself, and then also a god. So it kind of tells you that this idea that some people say, "Oh well, I think that gods are this and that." I'm like, I think really they're showing us gods comes out of clan leader cult. So, because the totem poles start about 13,000 years ago, there was, although totemism to me starts at about 50, that's about the clan. This new thing of totem poles, which to me relates to one man represents all the thing. Although, and I'm not saying that it's just limited to our concepts of one man also, by the way. It's like the Ket people in Siberia, they call themselves the men. That's what their name means.
Okay.
Yeah. It should have just said the man with the men. That would have been real accurate to me. But
That's interesting.
And I'm talking about culture, because they may go, well, it's not exactly that way, Damien. Oh, once again, I'm trying to make this simple. I'm not saying for everybody. I'm trying to make everything simple because I'm got tons of information trying to bring it, easier to understand. So in a sense, when people say that Sami have shamanism, I go, they have paganism with shamanism.
Ah, okay.
I don't even see it as shamanism alone.
It's not that.
Not the North has shamanism, like up in Siberia and shit. Like I can't remember the name, but it's like the center of Siberia, and it's like way up in the north. And then Nagat people or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But that stuff, yeah, that don't really have that I know of. I could go, maybe I could be wrong, but I've watched some videos on it. They have spirits and shit. Oh, it's definitely shamanism, like a son bitch. Because shamanism does something that totemism and animism may not do. It's not that it can't do, but animism and totemism do not need afterlives. Animism, everything is magical, so there's no other anything. Everything.
Right. Everything's the same
So
thing.
every person's the same. You're the same. Children, adults.
Yeah.
So so that's why it's easy for anarchism, because everything's the same. So it makes anarchism, because the whole mentality is everything's the same. So if you start with that, you don't really get unequal.
Right.
And that's why I say, it's when people go, well, if you had to choose a god, what would you choose? I go, wow, why do I have to choose a god? What you really mean is if I choose a religion, I would say animism.
Right.
Because it's the only one that's ethical to me. Well, I'm not saying that totemism can't be ethical, because it absolutely can. But it still has issues. It starts getting this like whole, what you just get laws and rules, and animism is like everyone's equal, everyone has rights, everyone owns themselves and can't touch nobody, and everyone has the right to marriage. I mean, it's just so anarchist. It's socialist. You're like, woo!
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they may have some stuff, because once again, now they have. Did you know that the wonderful people? Europeans decided that they needed to be Europeanized because they're savages. Who would live like that? Who would live where everything is equal? I mean, are you kidding me?
It's so primitive, quote unquote.
Right. So then totemism doesn't, like I said, this doesn't mean it can't. But don't think that when you think totemist, you immediately think afterlife. Because totemist is about how you're supposed to behave in this life. And what you cannot do, who you can have sex with and not. I mean, it's all this, but it's about here.
Right. Okay.
So that's what I say. So it's really shamanism that almost is 100% afterlife.
Right.
Because if you look at the chart, when they asked all the indigenous people, 33, the scientists did, not me, but research scientists studied 33 different indigenous around the world to find out what their belief was. 100% of them believe animism, which they said, well, that means animism came first. And I go, yeah, I should read my book. I'm trying to help here.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, then it looks like after that, shamanism happened. I'm like, I'm trying. You lost the totemism, but I added it for you, because I went and I looked myself and I figured it out myself that only Africa has animism. Pure animism without totemism, without clan, without structure, without leader, without governing anything. So that's only found in I would say the last remaining who did not get killed off of these really, to me, some of the most beautiful humans that have ever probably walked the earth. I mean, and the fact that their whole culture is just set up so correct.
Right.
In a sense. Once again, I'm not trying to raise them on a pedestal. I'm not saying they don't have issues. I'm just saying that we need to really check ourselves. To me, when I think of what the greatest, like someone said, well, because I've heard people say this bullshit. Oh, America's the greatest country, even though it's not bad. I'm like, dude, I would rather be Hazai people. Those people are fucking awesome. I wouldn't even have to change shit. In fact, if they want me to be an animism, I might even entertain that shit.
Right.
Not really. I'm just saying, just so I could be in their happiness,
yeah.
Fucking outside of this fucking nonsense world, that doesn't sound that bad to me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No
so
kidding.
I just wanted just to get people to understand these ideas, even though I'm an anti-religionist, the ideas that we have about religion really need to change. Sorry. So go ahead and read some stuff about people that had ideas that need to change. Go ahead.
So we're starting the belief of quote unquote primitive communism is based on Morgan's work is flawed due to Morgan's misunderstandings of, and I'm definitely going to mispronounce this, Haudenosaunee society, and his since proven wrong theory of social evolution. Subsequent, more accurate research has focused on hunter-gatherer societies and aspects of such societies in relation to land ownership, communal ownership, and criminality and justice.
Okay, so can we pause for a second?
Yep.
So at least I don't know if I remember if I addressed this exactly, but totemism, I already said totemism breaks things down. Out in Siberia, about the 22 to 24,000 years ago, men and women lived in dorms. Okay, so they were different religions. They're like competing, but they're together, sort of. So as you just said, hunter-gatherer.
Right.
So here's a clue. This helps you understand paganism to me. If a gatherer gathers grapes or beer, hops, and makes alcohol, who do you think religion is involved in that faith? After what I just told you, the hunters or the gatherers?
No,
but I'm just saying. So if it's a grain, if it's a berry, it's gathered. So I'll just help you.
Yeah,
right? It's gathered. Okay, women do the gathering.
Yeah. Okay.
Men do the hunting. Hunters.
Yeah, I wasn't.
And gatherers. They always say this. I'm not saying it can be exclusive. You can have some blend over. But this is general rule. Just so but I'm trying to get you to understand. And it's not like I'm making this up. They had separate dorms. I mean, they really were being specific about gender. This also means that men are getting sex and then not taking care of children, in a sense.
Okay.
So they basically are living their whole sort of a single life, and they come in and party and then go live a single life again. Sort of. I'm not saying exactly. And I'm sure some of them are homosexual and bisexual and
of course
genderqueer and intersex and everything else. I'm just so don't assume that I'm and that both sides on the what people would say is male or female. That period. But what I'm saying though is, but they also I'm not saying they only came together and had heterosexual sex. I don't think so.
Right.
Because I also think that they already had like the two-spirit thing. The idea of more than one gender was already there. I think that's about 22,000 years old to me.
Wow.
The idea of multiple genders. I don't think it's there right away, but I think by then because there's figurines that have dual genders.
Right.
It maybe even goes back to the 31,000 shaman burial where there's what they thought 2 men and a woman, and found out it was 2 men and an intersex person or something. But probably intersex. It's like someone said to me, "I'm an intersex male." It's like I feel like I'm intersex. Male is the gender thing. You are trying to comfortably attach to that because you don't like that. I am saying I am not born the way you think. So which is also why I'm now kicked off of fucking Instagram for addressing this, stuff. But
right, because you posted an informative picture that contained genitalia.
But it's the kind of thing I can sit here all day and talk to you and you not know what in the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah. But you can show one picture and somebody can figure it out. Yeah, it clicks.
Well, because people were saying to me, I am not, they don't believe I'm intersex. They don't believe I'm this, or they believe that an intersex only means you're just still a man, and I was like, first off, I just find it insane when people randomly start telling me shit. They have not asked me a fucking question.
Right. You're not who you say you are.
Like, after what? Never asking me a fucking... All I said was, I wrote, I was born intersex. That's all. Not a war, not a fight. Now put it down. That's all I wrote. And that was too much. That deserved fucking like 2 days of fucking nonsense.
Jeez.
But anyways, but this is important though, because I put a picture, because this is related.
Yeah.
This is not like I'm adding something. Once again, there's hidden history. It's called real history that people are uncomfortable with. You know,
Right.
like critical race theory, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to hear that shit was fucking bad. Well,
Yeah.
well, guess what? There was gay people also, and there was, you know, yeah, that's not nothing new. And trans people and intersex people. And yeah.
Intersex people exist.
Well, yeah, and like I said, so I put a picture of a 22,000-year-old figure of intersex, and then also they found they found one figure at Göbekli Tepe, right? And the one guy was trying to say it relates to male. Okay, it has like this basic outline of a penis. It's long, but it's got this actual hole for the butthole. No other figures have ever had that.
Okay. So
Okay.
seems like it's saying something else.
A very similar to that one figure sitting in Greece shows up, and I think that one's, so the one is like 9,000 or 10,000 or maybe even 11. Then this other one is like maybe 7 or 8 or something. Okay, it's similar to it. So I mean, but I already know they're related, so I know that understand the whole thing a little bit better. But I don't want to go into that. But so these two figures, okay, both of them, unlike every other figure, especially even male ones, right? Because they go, oh, those are male. I'm like, yeah, and no other males, but these ones have their butthole showing.
Right.
Because we all know that's what a heterosexual man wants to show everyone the world for. You know, I'm like, give me to me, it's just absolute homophobia. It's like,
yeah,
dude, you're looking at something that's telling you flat out that this is. I mean, what are you going to say? It's about giving birth? Come on. Well, seriously, I mean, come on. I mean, or how about this? Let's just say that someone says that my idea is not 100% proven on this issue. Okay. But explain it better. Right. Oh, I'm waiting. Please explain it better than I just did. Especially when I show the 3 figures, the only ones that ever have had buttholes. And they're all, in a sense, one is intersex, and the other 2 look like, you know, either trans or, you know, intersex or gay. Period. Or bisexual. And that's because, hey, let's not forget there's bisexual people.
It just seems really, I don't know, very modern to be in denial of the existence of intersex or trans people throughout prehistory. Like, it seems very like hung up on this very modern idea of binary genders, which
it really pisses me off. It's just like, right. So I don't know. I have a blog if anyone wants to look. And here's the interesting fact. I don't know, maybe 20 people that supposed skeptics made these gigantic claims. I always wonder when skeptics make gigantic claims. But you are the guys that tell me, as a rationalist, I believe too much stuff. And yet here you're offering something with no fucking justification. As if it is fucking, because they'll say, intersex people are either man or woman. I go, oh, please give me a direct, not your opinion of, a direct quote from a research article that makes the claim that every intersex person is only either male or female. I want to see it. And you know what? Here's a news flash. They never did. So
I find it hard to believe such a thing would even exist.
Right? So 20. Well, I said it because my point was, okay, you keep telling me I'm wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. No, I don't use. I use words and ways that wrong and all this. Hey, fucking, I have it, motherfucker. Doctors told me, dickhead, twice. So go fuck yourself anyway. But here's another thing I always say. I don't have to defend myself for you, who the fuck I am. Yeah. Anyways, the reason I do it is simply because I'm an activist. I would never let you talk to me like that. I would destroy you the moment you opened your fucking mouth,
Yeah,
which I did do to one person. And then because I'm an ethical human being, I felt kind of bad because I started getting aggressive because all these people kept attacking me and I had actually said nothing.
right.
All I had said was I was born intersex. Whoa.
It's not
Man,
even a controversial statement. Like
right?
people are born intersex all the time.
Right? Seriously, I'm just saying. So I started to get, because they started attacking me personally, telling me I'm this, I'm wrong, I'm insane, I'm mental. Anyways, so I started doing my. I'm not going to go into it because I don't need to teach how to do things that I don't like people to do, but I know how to really get into people's mind.
Mm.
Just one quick thing, because I know it won't matter if I tell you, because you'll still love ego more than anything. Not you personally, maybe Cory, but other people. The ego is how I fucking get you. I mean, I won't tell you the whole technique of how to do it, but it's ego. I can always do it. And you know what? The bigger the person, the bigger the ego, the easier it is to fucking get you. I can lead you around by the fucking nose with your ego.
Yeah.
And you know why I can't be touched? Because I let my ego go. In fact, if I'm wrong, Cory knows this, I'll jump out and we together will beat my ego. I will kill that fucker. It's not worth it. It just isn't.
Yeah.
A fucking fool says, I love my ego. Anyways, let's go ahead and...
Sure. Okay, so we're on our second paragraph here. A newer definition of primitive communism being societies that practiced economic cooperation among the members of their community, where almost every member of a community had their own contribution to society, and land and natural resources would often be shared peacefully among the community. The term primitive communism first appeared in Russian scholarship in the late 19th century, with references to primitive communism existing in ancient Crete. From the 20th...
Which is probably true to some extent. Not totally, though, because they had palatials, so they had servants and shit. So I don't know if I would call places that have servants and shit, but I would say it was, what do they call it? Like state capitalism. I mean,
right.
Excuse me. State communism. It was...
not communism the way we
not what
imagine.
I want.
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly probably better than the capitalist bullshit that came next.
Sure. Yeah.
It was like horrific.
Yeah.
It was like mass murder and shit, you know. Because think of this. They killed so many fucking people, or castrated them, or turned them into slaves and never let them have sex. I don't know which. Could have been all the above, probably.
Right.
They did that so much, from 7,000 to 5,000, that it dropped the population of men to women to 1 to 19 or 1 to 20 or something like that, across from Africa and the whole world practically. It just massive clan fighting of males. It was all about sex, power, capitalism. But like I said, after 7,000, before that, religion is not this toxic fucking shithole. I mean, it's not great. But
it's not quite that.
Well, but see, then I started researching, wow, it's not so much really than the religion, it's the capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
That's what fucked.
It's the exploitation.
I would say that at that point, at 7,000, it's not that paganism gave rise to capitalism. It's that capitalism, like a fucking leech that it is, hooked itself onto paganism and then rode that motherfucker till it found Christianity. Anyways, go ahead.
For sure. From the 20th century, sociologists and archaeologists have looked at applying the term of primitive communism to hunter-gatherer societies, as were found in the Paleolithic era, through to horticultural societies, as found in the Chalcolithic,
which is the Copper Age. The other one is like the Old Stone Age, which is, I don't like that word because what it means? It means like 12,000 till I think it's 130 or something. I don't know exactly, but what the fuck? That's way too much time.
Right. All in one little category.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, can you be just a fucking little more accurate?
Right. Yeah. Narrow it down for me. Okay. Including Paleo-American societies from the Lithic stage through the Archaic period. Soviet archaeologists interpreted the Paleolithic Venus figures many of which were found in the Soviet Union in the 1920s and 1930s, as evidence of a primeval communist matriarchy.
Nope. Wrong.
They were incorrect?
They were incorrect.
Okay.
Okay. So here, like I said, once again, remember, it's two separate groups. So even if what you think is a matriarchy, I would go, well, you did remember they had dorms, right?
Right.
So they actually had a patriarchy and a matriarchy, if you want to be accurate.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, one should be as accurate as possible.
So you get what I'm saying? You got to stop this. They're one, like, working as a team. They're not. Like I said, they're in different freaking sides of the thing, in living structures. And we know the men are hunting, so they're leaving, and the women are rearing the children. I mean, so it's not like I'm making these like, crazy claims.
Right.
And plus, like I said, they have the evidence. And once you start understanding that they were doing that, then a claim like that sounds kind of odd. What I would say is, forget that matriarchy, patriarchy, because I would say, like I said, it's inaccurate because, of course, they're running each other. It's gender, or because it's also possible, because I don't know all the info, that they had a third gender in either one. You know, right. I'm not making that claim, so I don't know. I'm just saying I know there was a big segregation, and then they had different figurines, so they had different religion, different stuff is going on, but they weren't practicing it in a sense directly together. Because see, like say if the man leaves for a week, well, you gonna wait to do religion until he comes back for the 1 or 2 days, and then he leaves again?
Right? You know? Yeah, no.
And then what? He only practices religion, in 2 weeks, and when he comes back. I mean, you see, you got to understand they were already doing. That's why I'm saying it's not
right.
Exactly,
like, yeah.
So it's not that I'm saying it's exactly two religions, but you need to think about it like that because it'll be easier than the fallacy that it's one unified something.
Right. Right.
Nope. Just trying to help understand.
Yeah, it stands to reason that when hunters are out hunting, they are also doing whatever ritualistic
religion practices. They're messing with the trees. They're killing animals. They're giving offerings. What, the women aren't there, or like I said, third gender might be, or some kind of women that's just accepted because it's not there. There's even evidence of 10,000 women are interacting even in violence, so. Well, that's because we really look at this male-female bullshit that actually happened. It starts at 7,000 when capitalism bullcrap starts. And then by the time capitalism becomes, to me, fully like imperialism at 5,000, women are fucked. They're already. And then 4,000 is the oldest women's rights document. So, I mean, people are all of a sudden going, wait a minute. I thought women are supposed to be equal or at least, have some rights here. They're getting raped in the street. What the hell? Go ahead.
Okay. Influenced by Morgan's and Engel's works, they viewed the various Paleolithic cultures as being primitive, communist, and matriarchal. The psychoanalyst Wilhelm Reich concluded in 1931 the existence of an early communism from the information in Bronislaw Malinowski's work. However, Malinowski and the French Erich Fromm did not consider this conclusion to be compelling. Bornemann supported Reich's ideas in his 1975 work Das Patriarcha. Yeah, I can't pronounce that word.
That's fine.
Biblical scholars have argued that the mode of production seen in early Hebrew society was a communitarian domestic one that was akin to primitive communism.
And I would say that it is accurate. Like I said, it's not really. There's some very little like offshoots of anarchism, but really, it's the beginning. And then everything after that, it's not anarchism anymore. It's socialism still there, but you don't have really that much. It's more structured. So really, there's no more. But
it's not the automatic assumption of equals. It's more a little bit more hierarchical sort of thing.
Yeah, it's friendly, almost egalitarian.
Mm-hmm.
So they were different. It's like we're different, but that's okay, sort of.
Okay.
Because it's not totally okay, but it sort of is.
Fair.
So it's not. What I mean is, it's not the gender hatred you see now.
Right.
It's like total fucking like war. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah.
Good.
The early church fathers, like their non-Abrahamic predecessors, maintained that human society had declined to its current state from a now lost egalitarian social order. There are those who view that the early Christian church, such as that one that described in the Acts of the Apostles, specifically Acts 2:44 to 45 and Acts 4:32 to 45, was an
Okay.
early form of communism.
So I wanted to say that really, to me, when the communism, for me personally, when I think that communism took a big hit, which is so weird because of who it was, the story about, like Jesus, I'm talking about. It's
Right.
really that's almost like the end of communism because it's the rise of monotheism. And
Right.
I see monotheism as monotheism because it's all about men. There is no monotheistic female.
Right. Well, yeah, that makes sense to me because like the quote unquote God or whatever.
God.
Yeah, it was a dude, right? Like Jesus was a dude.
Right. Well, and actually, I just sent you the blog, which I should actually put that in this one, even though it's later, because it's still important. If you read that, you'll understand God. Understand why it still relates to this paganism shit I'm talking about. But of course, after 7,000. Because I would say that really, the God of the Bible is the God of the steppe. He's the nomadic God.
Mm-hmm.
And that, so I explained the Amorites and the Kurgan axe culture, and it actually relates to the Native Americans, like the XDNA. Jews have XDNA. Well, XDNA was also the Kennebec man, but that doesn't matter to me because he's not relative. It's for me, the XDNA I care about is the one that the red paint people in Canada, way over in, what is that? What is that? Is it New Brunswick? The one way the hell on the it would be on my on a map. It would be like near above New York and all that or whatever. You know, what is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure
East.
directly above New York, but there's
But east, whatever the farthest one though. What is that? I don't know that. I'm not so. Because
like this still attached to the mainland.
Better than me. I know where it is. I just can't remember it exactly. I thought it was whatever. If you don't know it, that's fine.
Yeah, anyway, I'm not entirely sure what.
It's in the blog. Okay, so
okay.
You can go look it up. But the red paint people, they actually built like these dolmen structures and did shell mounds, and they are XDNA. And I think not exactly, but it's like there was a source, and the source split. One went down to the Middle East, one went to the Americas, one went to France. So it's like, but I don't know exactly how they related because they're obviously different people. They could have been members in a very big clan or area, or and then so it's not that they're the direct descendants. It's not like, it's because I hear someone say, "Oh, well, the Jews, went to the Americas," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's not what happened." So go ahead.
There's other.
Well, because once you read, I'm not guessing. This is not fucking me guessing. I have like detail, and then next detail, and then next detail, and it's just jump all the way. So I know the whole story because I look at all the details. But go ahead.
Sure. The view is that communism was just Christianity in practice, and Jesus Christ himself was a communist. This link was highlighted in one of Marx's early writings, which stated, "As Christ is the intermediary unto whom man unburdens all his divinity, all his religious bonds, so the state is the mediator unto which he transfers all of his godlessness, all his human liberty."
Well, I would say there's definitely aspects that are anti-capitalist that Jesus makes, because he flat out says that a rich man has more chance of getting through a camel has more. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Don't think of the Bible. A camel has more chance of getting through the eye of a needle than a rich man getting to heaven. That does not sound like pro-Republican God right there.
Yeah, and wasn't he? I don't know the Bible very well, but wasn't there like a spot where he was like condemning all of the? He said that collecting interest was bad, and
he said that making money off of stuff in the church, the church should be giving it away for free.
Yeah.
not be in there like gambling and cheating on people out of weights and balances. It's just so that was why he supposedly turned over the tables, because they're being crooked, and they're also doing something they shouldn't be doing. They're making money in church, like, I don't know, good capitalists.
Yeah, that's right. Where was I? Furthermore, the Marxist ethos that aims for unity reflects the Christian universalist teachings that humankind is one and there is only one God who does not discriminate among people. Pre-Marxist communism was also present in the attempts to establish communistic societies, such as those made by the ancient Jewish sects, the Essenes, and by the Judean desert sect.
Yeah, and see, but I would say anything that, like I told someone before, they said, Damien, with all your knowledge, I can't believe you don't have more love for religion. I said, actually, I have more fucking hate for it. Like, this is just bull crap, But like I told you, but then I look some more, because I hear like a lot of atheists, like the only thing is religion. I'm like, no. See, no. I can tell you that actually it was capitalism. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. The problem is what you think of religion now is after 7,000 where they were together. Because capitalism needed religion so that the rich could survive.
Right.
The rich are from God. So they have the right.
Right.
They have the right to wealth. They'll come and fucking take your shit because they have the right to it. They own the land because God said.
The divine right of kings, right?
Right. Divine right of kings. Right. Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. So capitalism. So fuck this. But I'm not saying that religion is not bad. I mean, obviously, I'm an anti-religionist. Fuck religion. But I find it to be seriously dishonest, me personally. Just saying. For any atheist, after me explaining this to you, that thinks that religion is the only problem.
Right.
That religion started everything wrong. No, religion was going fine. Everything was not great, but it wasn't fucking a shit show. Why it's a shit show? Don't blame that shit on religion. I now realize, no, this is 100% accurate. It's capitalism.
The hoarding of resources by those with power.
and how they usually get it is the way capitalists love to get it, without paying a fucking dime. Yeah. Stealing it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, that's right.
You just go and kill everybody. You take their shit. It's like going to a store and you don't have to pay. You just kill everybody.
That's
fucking great.
And then you pay your army or whatever a small percentage of.
You hire a mercenary to kill them too.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't want those fuckers turning on you. No, I'm just saying that. But capitalism is just a sickness. It really starts in somewhere in like southern Germany or whatever, Austria. I have to go look at it. It's somewhere but it's really kind of related, not really to the farmers. It's the North Asians that had reached there.
Okay.
Yeah, and the fucking killing started.
The battle for resources.
And just of course think, here's you're a foreigner, right, from Asia. You don't have anything because you just came with your skin on your back or whatever, or just a rucksack or small supplies, because they didn't have cars. They had sleds, but I mean, good as that. And they were already riding reindeers and shit, but they only could stay in the north. And then they later did horses, I think, because they already knew how to ride reindeer. So the horses were better because they can go not to the north, but because the reindeer can. But the reindeer can't go south, but the horses can.
That's interesting stuff.
But
so we got we're down to the other section, which is paganism beginning around 12,000 years ago. And it says, to Damien, paganism, such as that seen in Turkey 12,000 years ago, Göbekli Tepe, first human-made temple around 12,000 years ago, sedentism, and the creation of goddesses around 12,000 years ago.
Sedentism is basically the human behavior of staying in one place.
Okay.
Not being migratory, not so
that makes sense.
So before sedentism, there's really no paganism. It's just shamanism. So when they say hunter-gatherers, you usually mean something to do with shamanism, totemism, animism.
So nomadic type societies weren't really paganistic.
Well, even if they were heavy those other things I just said.
Mm.
In other words, their paganism is so not paganism looking that people say, "Oh, it's Sami shamanism." I go, "Yeah, that they have shitloads of gods is the first thing you tell me."
Okay. Sounds okay. Around 12,000 years ago, as well as male gods after 7,000 years ago. Pagan shaman burial in Israel 12,000 years ago, and 12,000 to 10,000 years ago. Paganistic shamanistic art in a remote cave in Egypt. And a skull cult around 11,500 to 8,400 years ago. And the Chattahoochee
I think that's how you say it.
First religious designed city around 10,000 years ago.
Let me stop you right there. So Chattahoochee is a two name thing. It means fork hill.
Okay.
And then Gobekli Tepe means hill also.
Okay.
It's just different language. And then the Gobekli part means belly. So belly hill and fork hill or something.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So they named in whatever way based on the geography, I guess.
That's it. See, and people think that you cannot tell me stuff. See, you know, because here's the thing: when you start to think like me, and you're thinking in that realm, not our realm, looking at it as I'm an atheist and stupid religions. When you get into their realm and start looking around, it does start making sense because it's like you start, okay, so it's following the same pattern, boom, 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 you know, like every other religion.
Right. In Damien's thinking, paganism is approximately a 12,000-year-old belief system and belief in spirit-filled life and or afterlife that can be attached to or expressed in things or objects, and these objects can be used by special persons or in special rituals that can connect to spirit-filled life or afterlife, and who are guided / supported by a god or goddesses and magical beings or supreme spirits.
So all that together is what I call paganism. So when I
Okay.
say paganism, I mean a very complicated type of thing that for some, and also it mean other things too that's really obvious to me that goes with paganism should be like a red flag. Like if you see someone go, I have religion and a hallucinogen, it's almost a guarantee it's related to shamanism. I don't care what the fuck else it's in, what they call it, does not even fucking matter. That comes from shamanism.
Okay.
The thing is, if someone is using alcohol in religion, I don't give a fuck if it's a shaman. The alcohol idea is not from shamanism, it is from paganism. And that tells me, that would tell me if I see a shaman doing that, they're either doing it culturally now, and if they think they're doing it from before, then they're a paganistic shamanism.
Okay. So just in essence here, like this is, like you say, like paganism is a belief in spirits and an afterlife and gods and goddesses related to rituals and
the
totems.
Special persons, the priests, or whatever, priests, or sorcerers, or shamans, or something. Paganism can have all kinds of different things, but that's why I didn't put who, because I'm trying to make it,
because it varies based on
which. This is a general, that long description is what I mean by paganism, not what other fucking scholars do. And I know that's why I need to. My book will explain like in steps, so no one's going to be lost. It's harder when you just hear random things I say. You're like, what the hell?
Where are we here? Okay. So, to Damien, around 12,000 years ago in Turkey, the first evidence of paganism is Gobekli Tepe in the first human-made temple. And around.
But hold on a second, though. But I'm not sure. It might actually start in Korka Tepe, that's 12,400 or 200 or whatever.
Okay.
Because let me say why. That's the first wine. 12,000.
Okay. Interesting.
That's the first club. which I know later all leaders, including all kings, have this scepter shit. So I know that's all paganism. Because capitalism, right? I told you. Right? So, but here's the thing, like I said, don't blame paganism. It's fucked up, but that it's not responsible for capitalism. Capitalism is responsible for capitalism. And it was, like I said, once again, a leech onto paganism, not the other way around, even though I hate all religion. Although I like accuracy, so.
Right, for sure. So we got to end around 9,500 years ago in Turkey. The second evidence of the paganism is Çatalhöyük in the first religious design city. So, in addition, early paganism is connected to Proto-Indo-European language and religion. And Proto-Indo-European religion can be reconstructed with confidence that the gods and goddesses, myths, festivals, and forms of ritual with invocations, prayers, and songs of praise make up the spoken element of religion. Much of this activity is connected to the natural and agricultural year, or at least those are the easiest elements to reconstruct, because nature does not change and because farmers are the most conservative members of society and are best able to keep the old ways. Okay.
So also agriculture is connected to paganism, but that's also why you get beer. People need to make beer. They need agriculture to grow the grain to make beer. So, and they also started, here's their thing, is once they became sedentary, right? Because remember, how often did I say men are having sex? Every night?
Whenever they came back from hunting things.
Oh, so if a person becomes sedentary, all of a sudden he can fuck every night.
That's when you end up with
a lot of them end up with a lot of babies.
Yeah.
You get the problem. So then all of a sudden you got all this whole population. So once again, that helps capitalism. Whole bunch of fucking slaves growing. You know, you just keep growing these fuckers. You have sex and you just keep getting them. It's fucking wonderful. You barely feed them anything, because here's another thing, like Çatalhöyük. This is an interesting thing that people always talk about. Oh, men and women were equal at Çatalhöyük. That's not exactly true. They live totally separate lives, as I already said that totemism likes to do. But they live two separate cults, but they were equal in the sense. In the sense this way. Let me explain it, because it's not equal. Women would eat the domestic cows that they fucking probably raised themselves. Men without men's help. Men ate wild game. So they both are eating meat.
Right.
At almost equal portions, although women getting a little bit more. They're sedentary. The men have to catch these fuckers. You know, women are like, we're growing it right here in the herd, in the fence, you know, or whatever. They have fences, so they can get the animals at will. So, because it's like 10,500 or something in the Middle East that all domesticated cattle come from. So, domesticated cattle by Çatalhöyük, 9,000. Shit, that fucking it's been domesticated 1,000, 1,500 years. You know, so no problem.
Right.
This shit's old school now. We're good at this crap. But once again, paganism, because it's so connected to like the wealth of the stuff, because of sedentary. See, all the ones that are not sedentary. So it's really hard also to carry wealth. Imagine if you had to carry gold around on sleds. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Or a horseback. You know what I'm saying? It's like just not very fucking practical.
Yeah.
It's the whole lifestyle is kind of hunter-gatherers, like they talk. But I don't like that, because hunter-gatherers could be animists, could be totemists, could be shamanists, and newsflash, whole whatever different arrangement of that.
Right.
So it's very complicated, because you look at it and they'll go, well, I see, because they'll go, I don't believe in totemism because I see some elements of it here and here. And I go,
that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
No, I just go, right. I agree with you. It is there, and it exists here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know why that's even like an issue. Like, am I missing something?
I mean, obviously, I'm not an expert on this, but it sounds like what people are saying. There's evidence for this thing all over the place. Therefore, It's not its own thing.
Yes. And then they say, so quit saying it's its own thing. I go, I didn't say it's its own thing. I think
Right.
are you not listening? I'm telling you, it's Legos. You start with animism, and then you take another Lego and you put it on top of that animism, and you have totemism. So you have animism, totemism, which a lot of people just, newsflash, call totemism. They don't emphasize, well, it also has animism.
Right.
So, and then here's another newsflash. Then on top of this totemism, animism, they'll put this new thing, shamanism. Mm-hmm. Another newsflash, they call all of that shamanism.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Then paganism comes along. Nothing changes. You just stick gods on top of it like another Lego. Now they call all of this big stack paganism.
Right. They don't call it paganism, shamanistic.
See, now you're getting it.
Yeah. So.
Right. So that's why when I talk, it's confusing to you, because I'm trying to be accurate about what I know really is what, or at least close. And you're thinking of these words in a totally different, like.
Right. Yeah. You're separating them when you need to think of it in a more dialectical way.
Yeah, you have to. And like I said, it's complicated. That's like someone said before, Damien, you're making it too complicated. And I'm like, no. Could I remind you, this is the highlights of the Cliff Notes. Dude, I had 6,000 pages for my book.
If you ever find yourself telling someone that they are explaining the world in a too complicated of a way, you need to reevaluate what you think is complicated and what is true. Because the world is complicated. History is complicated. Everything is so complex. Would you rather
I do what? Fucking lie for your ignorance?
Right. Yeah.
What the fuck? Oh, you mean like those pseudoscientists do? Who I don't know that they even know the truth anyways. They probably don't. I do know. So here's the thing. I know more than anyone in the world. And I still do not feel arrogant enough to say I know every single thing about every single thing. Because it's too much.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it's too complicated. It's even too complicated for Damien. And Damien has a fucking good ass handle on it. And it's even still too much for me. It's because it's too. But that's not the issue. That's a good issue, though. My issue is that what you would say to your favorite scientist? It's too complicated.
Right. Physics is too complicated.
It's too complicated. And they'll say, Damien, your meme, Neil deGrasse Tyson doesn't make these complicated memes. And I go, no, he demands you sit there for an hour and listen to him fucking talk.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm trying to give you a meme, and you're giving me a hard time.
But in fairness, people do not read.
I know. Someone said that about one of my blogs. I go, explains, like I said, that the Amorite deity from the steppe is the Bible God.
Right.
Or it relates to it. That's a better way of saying it.
Okay.
Because I'm not saying that exact, but something about that influence, and then later became the Bible God. So, and someone said to me, well, it's, too long. Yeah, it's fucking complicated, but I want you to understand. And once you read that whole blog, you will understand that shit like you have never in your life.
Yeah.
So, but that's also, I get it. We got to break all this down. That's why we're also breaking paganism, not trying to tackle the whole damn thing. Because it's going to be almost like 3 or 4 segments, because paganism, unlike all the other religion, becomes more complicated. And I really think it's actually not because of paganism's fault. It's capitalism. Once capitalism comes in, it needs elite. It needs structure, because how are you going to oppress the people if we don't know who the fucking people are? We got to have someone that doesn't matter.
Right. You got to create serfs.
You need laborers to go out there and have slave wages. You need capitalism. So to me, like I said, it becomes hard to notice the difference at a certain point, because they almost work off each other. In other words, like the pharaoh is the king priest. Mm-hmm. He actually supposedly runs the religion, so he has the right to take all the money, because religion runs the government, like Christians want.
Yeah.
But anyways, did you have any other questions or anything else to read?
No, I think we're at the end of this segment's writings, and I think I'm good for today.
Right on. Yeah, sounds great. I know you got to go, and I appreciate your time. And it's always better too, because then I can joke and laugh and stuff. Even if I were to tell you all this information, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. It might seem. Yeah.
It wouldn't be as fun. It would be like a lot boring. Or like, what? Is he still talking?
Yeah. Although, I mean, people might find this boring too, because amazing. I just read, and then I listen, and we talk, and I mean,
well,
it's fine.
This is accurate. I guarantee this is educational. So even if you don't like this, if you're a socialist and anarchist, I feel, and don't listen to this, you're doing yourself an injustice, because this will help you really grasp stuff, and not this inaccurate shit that people wrote back in the fucking 1800s. They didn't know crap.
Right. Yeah.
So.
No, sounds good. Well, like you say, I better go.
All right. Take care.
Have a good one.
Oh, go ahead and plug yourself first.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Because you're wonderful, so why not spread
sure.
the love?
It's The Mind of a Skeptical Leftist on YouTube and podcast apps everywhere. And I'm at Skeptical Lefty on Twitter.
Right on. Take care. See
you
you
later.
in 2 weeks.
You bet.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist-humanist philosopher and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, agnosticism, atheism, antitheism, antireligionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudo-history, pseudo-morality, things that are found in religion. I support realism, axiology, of course, liberty, justice, ethics. I am also an anarchist socialist. I support anarchism and socialism, progressivism, liberalism, philosophy, psychology, archaeology, and anthropology, advocating for sexual, gender, child, secular, LGBTQIA+, race, class rights, and equality. So if you can guess from all that, I support or challenge that I have an eclectic variety of videos on a variety of topics. Please take time to check them out, as well as if you enjoy them, please give them a like. And don't forget to subscribe, as new things are on their way all the time for my channel.